my G's? Y'all should know what it is. It is BKA Watts, one half of the Blerds and Clips podcast, coming at you per usual after delivering a flawless, repetitious intro right here on the Revolt Podcast Network. Yes, I am joined by my partner in crime.
Hi there, it's the award-winning Vigatron. Y'all gotta love the way they just turn it right on, like just be on some bullshit and then boom, just right on, just right there. And for all of you that can see it, but I mean for those of you that can't, just audio, because it doesn't matter, does it?
No, not at all.
Whatever.
Hey me, cut the intro music. Fantastico. All right, hey me, turn the volume back up so when people say cool things, we can.
Perfect.
All right. Yes. It is Blerds and Clips, our TV, movie, video game, and whatever the hell else we feel like talking about. Podcasts. We talk about everything except for you niggas mixtapes. It's not going to happen because y'all niggas suck at rapping.
Well, it's going to, for 2025, we'll start implementing that.
Oh, shit. That's that Project 2025 shit everybody keep on talking about.
Yeah.
Sneaky.
Uh-huh.
All right, man. So look, we got a couple of things coming up this week. I understand. I've been having, you know what? Fuck that. Because it's us. I've been in so many conversations, communications, and rooms with people on other platforms talking about podcasting. And I have heard multiple people say, yeah, man, when I'm tuning into a podcast, I ain't trying to hear friends being cool with each other and asking each other about their week. I want to get to the subject.
You know what? I actually, you know, it's funny because this is personal. So being that I don't like to do that, but like when I'm watching JBP, I actually do like to hear about what they're talking about because some of that shit could be interesting to me. But I don't think that my shit would be interesting like that unless I was just really revealing. And a lot of times I don't, and for the most part, don't shit be going on.
I feel you though.
And if it's rap related, because niggas do rap.
Facts.
But I wouldn't bring that up here, so what the fuck?
I feel you. I guess, I don't know. On one hand, it's a formality. You know what I'm saying? And I genuinely do care to know that my nigga good. You know what I'm saying?
Even though you've already talked to me like twice this week, though.
That much is true. So I'm saying, so like in this event, I don't necessarily have to ask. But you know what I'm saying? It's also that the audience might give enough of a shit to be like, hey, man, these niggas cool. Niggas is showing up. We out here recording. We pressing the button, nigga. But you know what I'm saying? I might have had a deep, dark, depressing week, motherfucker.
And motherfuckers don't care. You know what?
You're right.
There was something I was about to add to that, and I can't even fucking remember now. My bad. Never mind.
No, man, bro. So we know your week was the usual. My week this week was a little bit aggressive. Pinched a nerve in my motherfucking neck. Shit goddamn hurt, my nigga. So I mostly spent the week sleep and drooling and shit because these motherfuckers put a nigga on anti-inflammatories, muscle relaxers, and narcotics, nigga. So yeah. It has been a sleepy week.
Now I remember what I was going to say. So,
got it.
Here's a lesson for you ladies, all three of y'all that may be listening to this podcast.
That's 6 titties, bro.
Apollonia 6, Vanity 6, 6 titties.
Girl 6.
Related, but nah.
I know.
Because supposedly...
I was just going off 6.
No, I got you. And it totally fits considering that Prince did the soundtrack. But nonetheless, I was just thinking about the fact that, yeah, supposedly since that's why he named it Vanity 6 is because it was 6 titties. But anyway, so not to totally get off track. So the whole thing is, and you talk about this, you know, how was your week shit, blah, blah, blah. And being that we don't talk to each other or do this whole update shit throughout the course of the week, because even if we do something, we don't really discuss it. Now, here's what you ladies can take from that. Being that when I show up to this motherfucker and we do this podcast, things are fresh. So that way we haven't overly talked about whatever we needed to for the day, and we can get the podcast done and everything is fresh and it's raw and uncut with reaction, so to speak. What you ladies can take from this is that if you don't talk to your nigga all goddamn day, when you get home, you have something fresh to talk about.
That's it.
All right, I'm sorry. Continue.
as they would say on social audio apps, he's dropping gems and jewels and shit. That's what they say.
Y'all don't hear me though.
Y'all ain't ready for that conversation.
Y'all don't hear me though. Anyway.
What the one chicks be saying? They funny as fuck in real life.
Kind of. I do watch those clips from Chase and Mello. I do want to give props.
Yes.
To actually shouting people out. So
no, for sure, for sure.
You know, they don't give a fuck about us, and they may one day.
They don't.
But,
they might.
But
you know,
but
hey,
yeah,
they might like movies. Might come on the show. Who knows?
Yeah, Chase and Mello. If you've seen a lot of their clips,
funny as fuck.
You know, Black Heart Revolt clips. A lot of things with the ladies on doing the podcast shit. It's actually so funny, skits is pretty funny. So yeah, if you check it out, you know,
because like they said, it take 8 wipes to realize it only took 7. That's right. Nigga, that one.
Right. That was the fire one. Every other one has been kind of like hit or miss. Has been on some dad joke shit to get you to laugh. But yeah, that one though.
I was like, yeah.
It was like,
yeah. We in there.
That was.
Now you think, Mark. All right, man. So let's get into it. We are officially look, we ain't even that bad. We ain't even that bad. We only like 7 minutes into the show. See, and we didn't got through the formalities. We didn't talk about niggas' weeks and shit. Kids starting school. That's great. Get the fuck out of my house. It's quiet around this hole.
My kids are dried up on a towel. Just saying.
That's because they fell asleep there after they went to the pool.
Oh, shit. Not my kids.
Oh, man. All right, man. So listen, I want to touch a little bit of box office activity this week. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know Vic don't give a fuck about white people making a bunch of money.
You said it for me because I was about to be like, is that intro like, yeah, go ahead and talk about these white people money. But yeah, go ahead.
Listen, for those of y'all who are interested, this is just, listen, to a degree, we're going to see what happens with the next release, though. But you can at least say Marvel is looking up right now. Because Deadpool and Wolverine has officially not only cracked the Billy, a $1 billion bill, my nigga, they also officially, as of this recording, have overtaken Joker as the highest grossing R-rated film of all times on the planet Earth. ERF, nigga. Okay?
I'm trying to think, what are they number 6 for? Or number 5 for? I can't even remember now. Doesn't matter. So the only part about that I do celebrate, and it ain't the money, is one, changing a slot, because I don't celebrate Marvel in this. I'll celebrate
Loki.
Ryan Reynolds. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'll celebrate Ryan Reynolds in this for beating out the expectations of going from Deadpool 1 to 2, and then this, where it was kind of iffy. So being that he beat out the expectations, finally hit $1 billion, I'll look at that, fine, that's a success. Don't really care about the money. But then also, because of the fact that retroactively, just like I accused you of doing Guardians of the Galaxy 1, I sat there and I went, when we saw Joker, and I'm like, yeah, this was cool. I have never watched that fucking movie again. I don't give a shit about Joker. And the fact that it finally got taken out of that slot, I'm happy about that because in my heart of hearts, I don't feel like it should be there. It got there, but I'm okay with it being dethroned by something that I enjoyed that much more. That's all.
I will give you that much for sure. And I liked it. I've watched it since. I haven't watched it a bunch of times since.
Right.
And I understood that at the point where you earn an Oscar and you hit the $1 billion mark on a budget of like 50 cents, you're going to get a fucking sequel. I am not excited about the sequel, but I'm gonna fucking go see it though. But I'm also not excited about it being a musical. But I'm still gonna force myself into the fucking theater. Like, I am gonna put a little bit of trust and faith into the parts that will be played, the talent in front of the camera, and the talent behind the camera. I'm gonna at least give that bitch a shot. But I completely agree with your sentiments, my nigga, that, yeah, bro, much rather see a movie like a Deadpool and Wolverine in that number one spot. Realistically, the thing is, as adults, rated R movies, I guess if you're that kind of person, but rated R movies are for adults. And by no fucking means would I say that the dollar amount, the box office gross, is equivalent to quality, because there are much better R-rated movies. R-rated movies that I could name 100 R-rated movies that I enjoy more than Joker.
Well, yeah, this goes without saying, but I mean, again, for it to get all that, it's like the you know what it's like. I hate to throw him under the bus, but fuck him. And I was about to be not racist, but unintentionally racist. It's like the Macklemore, whatever the fuck, however you pronounce his name. Right. I have nothing against the guy. I can't identify one of his songs if I heard it, but it's kind of like him winning the Grammy. You could do that.
Yeah.
But if there's so many other things that could be better that could dethrone that or make you forget about that, I'm totally okay with that. So that's kind of how I look at it from that perspective. But, as you said, I have already made a conscious decision. And then say, unless you, and when I say you, I don't mean you personally, you collectively tell me that there is really something I'm missing with Joker. I forgot what the hell the name.
Folie à Deux.
Folie à Deux.
Mm-hmm.
Took all that damn French and I couldn't even remember the French part of the title.
Because
I don't give a shit. Because that's why
they forced us.
Well,
they forced us.
No, it's just I just don't give a shit. I have no intention of going to see this.
You're not going to go see it at all?
Oh no, I have no intention of going to see it. That's why I said unless you collectively tell me that it's really that great, I am not going to go see it. I'm good.
Like I said, I think my thing has always been like a matter of wanting to see more movies than I ever have in a year. Like when we first started this pod, that was kind of one of my goals. And I feel like every year since, I've seen less and less movies. But there's been reasoning behind it. On one hand, we had the pandemic, still affecting movie theaters in general. We didn't have shit like the writer strikes occur that held a bunch of shit up. We've had a bunch of shit just end up getting delayed, pushed back. We've had shit just get pulled entirely off the shelf that never came out. So there's just been so many things that have been happening in Hollywood that has made it to where I've, in this past couple of years, watched more TV than I have in years. Like, by comparison, I used to not just go to the theater more, but I also used to rewatch a lot more movies by comparison to watching series and shows, which I find myself doing more and more now.
I mean, you ain't wrong, but I can't tell you my definitive reason that changed and slowed up, because even like with just pretty much everything, because other than the fact that I spend probably the vast majority of my day watching YouTube and like virtually none of the streaming services that I pay for, it's wild. And I don't know what fully changed my, just my whole way of doing things. But yeah, that happened.
I'm telling you, bro, like the pandemic had an effect, because when the theaters were shut down, we went from going to the movies and seeing each other at that motherfucker unintentionally often to now that shit never happens.
Well, yeah, especially during the early days, especially because it was free.
That too. That too. But I'm saying though, like even since the inception of the podcast, like we used to be at the theater a whole lot more though. But I am feeling like I've seen a couple of good movies this year, which is cool. There are a couple more that are coming out, and we're gonna touch back on the box office a little bit more later as well. But I think for the first time in like 30 plus years, a husband and wife duo are number one and number two for the box office, because Blake Lively's movie came out this past weekend and did 50 million opening weekend. Deadpool put another 54 million in the bank. Blake's movie came out and did 50 And Borderlands came out and made 38 cents, which we gonna talk about in opening weekend, which is fucking crazy. But Deadpool cracks $1 billion. Deadpool's officially the number one highest grossing R-rated film of all time, and I will say deservedly so. Huge shout for Ryan Reynolds and what he has done, and bringing Hugh Jackman back for one more outing, which I think it's over with for real this time. But I wonder if we're gonna see Deadpool again, or what they gonna do, because remember, all the talk that had to do with Joker was this is a one-off. This is the one and the only. And now Deadpool is, with the 3 movies combined, $1.5 billion franchise.
Well, I didn't get the impression that he was trying to do a finite number of those movies. So I could see them being that eventually they could do a Deadpool 4, especially the way that it was done, where it could be still yet another one-off for his movies. It doesn't have to necessarily be tied into the MCU. He doesn't have to do any of those things being in the pocket universe that he was in, and you could still completely ignore Wolverine within that.
Yeah.
I think that there is definitive potential that, again, if they can think of a story, it's going to happen with a 4th one, because I wouldn't see why not.
Yeah. So, I mean, highest grossing R-rated film of all time, second highest grossing film of the year so far, and probably will maintain and hold that position. With that being said, all I can say is, Mr. Ryan Reynolds, till you're 90.
Okay. So, speaking of things that are kind of X-Men related.
Ha! Do you see the segues? Y'all don't see the segues.
Well, that's only because
you about to though.
We're good at what we're doing, but at the same time, being that we didn't
That
talk
was-
about how we were going to segue.
Nigga.
I figured you were done. with
Oh,
that.
I was, but
Okay.
nigga,
All right. So,
damn.
Bo DeMayo, who a bunch of you don't know, of course, he's the showrunner and writer for X-Men 97, which everybody and their mama loved.
Yep, y'all niggas
It was
loved
so
it.
predictable.
Y'all loved it.
Not that it was bad.
I ain't gonna lie. I
loved
thought that
it
shit
too.
was. I thought it was gonna be ass though.
Right.
I did not.
I didn't. I just thought it was going to be decent, but I mean, it was way
didn't-
better than I.
I didn't like the changes to the animation style that they made for budgetary reasons.
Me neither.
I didn't like that. Like, they made the shit too smooth. And
A different way than what I was thinking.
oh no, that too though. But they definitely smoothed everything out, and they took out a lot of the details in the character designs as a whole, in character costuming and shit like that. They removed a lot of that there was in the original run, and they did that for the sake of turnaround time and budget.
None of that matters. And I got a reason to remind you about why none of that matters. Let me count them. I got 4 words for you.
Mm-hmm.
Batman the Animated Series.
Hmm.
Because it had its own style, but wasn't very detailed. It's about the storytelling.
Right.
None of that will matter if the stories are great and the presentation is great.
It did not.
Right. That's all I'm saying. I hear what you're saying.
I'm saying that the reasons, one of the main reasons, before knowing any of what the story was going to be
Why
or
you
how it was
thought
going to play out,
be.
I was looking at it visually and was just like, why did they do that?
Right.
So I was automatically turned off a little bit. But nigga, if they dropped a new Batman, I mean, I would watch it. But if they dropped a new Batman animated series and they watered down the animation, I would be fucking hot.
I can understand.
Like, it'd be weird. But then if it turned out like 97 did, it'd be like, oh, well, shit.
Small sidebar. You haven't attempted to watch Cape Crusader yet, have you?
No. I'm hearing good shit, though.
Okay.
All right.
We're not going to talk about that right now, people, because neither of us have watched it.
All right.
But so anyway, Bo DeMayo, The writer, showrunner for X-Men 97. If any of you are aware that by the time that the show was about to come out, right before, he was thus fired by Disney for unspecified reasons, to which they alluded to conduct issues.
Yeah, somebody said that he had an OnlyFans, and that was all that we had to go off of was him having an OnlyFans. Right. It was like, that's, I guess, bro, like there's somebody else getting fired for having an OnlyFans, like they done to a bunch of like miscellaneous like school teachers and like cafeteria ladies at random ass school districts, and it's like, oh yeah, they found out she had an OnlyFans and they fired her. Like that's whack. Like that's my personal time off work, and you only would even know it's there if you know to go looking for it on one hand, and also then you only gonna know what's even on there if you motherfucking click and pay to subscribe, my nigga.
Right. So that being said, Bo DeMayo, black man, guess it's relevant. Blerds.
Yep.
And Clips. So that was the word on the street, as they would say. Yeah. And then it even got a little bit hairier as of recently, since things for the show have been nominated for future Emmys. And being that he was the showrunner, he made mention that he wasn't invited, at least at this point, to participate in said ceremonies, being that if they did win, he should be there to receive it, being that he's the one that set everything up for that first season and also had hands on the second season that was to come, even though he was being fired. Right. But then more allegations came out as to why, so Disney had to then make a statement as to why they fired him, and they just basically still alluded to he had some misconduct that was done multiple times, to which they have severed ties with him completely. But word on the street, according to BKA Watts, is that allegedly, what happened?
So apparently,
allegedly,
he was doing. We didn't even talk about it. We didn't get to talk about this, but apparently there was an assistant who he physically came in contact with on multiple occasions, who he was harassing. That's one thing. That's a problem. The other thing that immediately stood out in what the story was, because we're talking sexual misconduct. So if you even look past, all right, he had an OnlyFans. All right, cool. You could leave that as a thing. That could be a part of it. Sexual misconduct and having somebody pointing allegations on you for you groping them, touching them, doing any of that, well, now we getting problematic. Then also, multiple people who were involved with the animation and illustration apparently received nudes from him, which he claims the purpose of was for them to be able to realistically capture anatomy, because he was sending nudes of himself in superhero action poses.
I've done that.
Same. But that right there is enough, more than enough, to get you shit bagged, especially at a family company like Disney.
But all right, so I can understand why he would probably get, well, I shouldn't say probably, or still allegedly, why he would get fired like that. But I do have to wonder, in what scenario of the animation would Cyclops need to be spread eagle?
See,
Blerds and Clips, this is why you tune in.
Right, because my thing is, and these images were also sent to, like, these were sent to men on staff. So it was just like,
men were on the staff. Pause.
Hey, no diddler for the kittlers. And of course, these people, had issues with it, took issue with it, requested that he no longer do these things. But you know what I'm saying? It appears that he was just riding high on the wave of like, yo, I'm the dude over here. And nobody had done anything up to that point. They got through the production of the show. They got through marketing and promotion of the show. And it wasn't until the internal investigation came along that instead of airing him out, the company just let him go. But after he was informed and it was made clear that he would not be credited on season 2 of the show going forward. That's when he took to social media to speak to it and got aired out at that point.
It was just jealous because his balls was as smooth as eggs.
Smooth as eggs.
Terrible.
Listen, this is another one of those things where somebody in power in a position is using and abusing that to be able to try to get off on wild shit. And it don't matter if you black, white, purple, pick a color. It don't matter what your creed, what you think. None of that shit makes a difference. When you doing weird shit, this is going to be what the result is. It's only going to be so many times you're going to do it without, for lack of better words, and get off. You know what I'm saying? Scot-free.
All right, man. Yeah. That's a shame.
It is.
Nothing to add to that.
I just wonder how season 2 is going to play out.
Well, I mean, if we are blessed to make it that far, I guess we'll find out. I'm not overthinking it because, again, it is what it is. Like, I cast no aspersions of anything when it's always like, yeah, I want to see how this is going to turn out. It's like, yeah, I'm interested, but I'm not going to overthink it because, again, it has to arrive. It has to show up. It has to show me something that's disappointing before I could feel a way about it. So, okay.
Well, that's the whole thing. I only pose that wondering, what we're going to end up actually getting out of season 2, how far into the process he already had gotten, if they're still going to use his ideas or material going forward, since he also considering that he won't be credited. And then once we see it, then will come the conversations of whether or not it's good or not, whether or not it was stuff that he actually actively worked on or not. And if it's good, cool. If it's bad, then who's to blame and what happens with the show going forward? Because it was good, though.
Okay.
Yeah, see? Ha-cha-cha, just like that with it.
So I have a movie review.
Oh.
And you didn't expect this to come up.
I didn't.
All right. So I have a movie review for Borderlands.
Do you?
Didn't see that coming, did you?
No, the fuck I did not.
So, review for Borderlands, the movie.
Oh, man.
Well, I didn't see it. And apparently, neither did y'all. So, here we go.
Neither the fuck did I.
As he said, made 38 cents at the box office.
It did make 38 hot cents.
To which I don't care. Because, again, I didn't go see it not because of any particular reasons. I mean, being that, TV, movies, video games, and whatever the hell else we want to talk about. As far as video games go, I don't play first-person shooters, so I had no definitive interest based on history of the game. What I saw from the movie didn't really make me want to see it. It definitively is one of those things that I would definitely watch on streaming or something, or back in the days like, oh yeah, I would rent it, but I'm not going to the theater to see that. So regardless of how bad the reviews were when people talked about it, I wasn't going to see it anyway. So that's fine.
See, so as I'm not familiar with the game on one hand, right? Seeing the imagery and the posters and shit, it looked like an even shittier Suicide Squad.
Right.
So I was already disinterested out the gate. Like, well, what the fuck is this? And then it also just, like, the cast is actually fucking impressive. At the same time, you got Kevin Hart just mushed in there, and the fuck is he doing?
Playing against type.
Yeah. Which, okay, I'm actually not opposed.
Yeah, I'm not opposed either, because just like when he did that, when he had that one Netflix show that we watched, I wasn't upset about that.
No, that shit was actually pretty good.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So
that shit was pretty.
I'm never against
good.
A comedian playing against type, because again, I want to see you do something else. So that wasn't my issue, nor would I have cared, if he wasn't doing extra Kevin Hart shit. Because I mean, Kevin, if you hear this, podcast ever, which I doubt you ever will, if you ever heard this podcast, I'm not really a fan of your stand-up like that. But I don't think that you're unfunny in stand-up. I just don't really care for it like that. But I've watched a good number of your specials. That being said, usually when you're in movies or TV, I do enjoy you on screen. I'm never upset when I see you on screen. So I'm still on your side. But it wasn't going to make me watch this or not. And I don't seek out Kevin Hart films or anything on purpose. But I'm never upset if he's in something. That's me.
I'm typically not. It's just that sometimes it got to a point where it just felt like it was just the same thing on repeat over and over and over. So I feel like, and why is the name of the Netflix joint escaping me right now?
I don't, wasn't it like based on a true story?
Yeah, something like that.
I think it was that.
Right. So, that joint was him playing like an elevated or like other world version of himself, which was cool. Still was doing the same thing, but there were those dramatic elements incorporated into it, which was dope. So yeah, when you see somebody do something a little different, it's cool. Even though, I mean, it was still comedic. Jumanji 2, nigga, when he was fucking Danny Glover, nigga.
I never saw Jumanji 2.
Come on,
Is it that important? I watched the first one. I thought it was fine, but I mean, I wasn't going out of my way to watch the second one.
I wouldn't have either.
So again, I'm not opposed to it. Eventually, when it comes around, if I see it, because I don't know what streaming service it's on, and I saw the first one, I think I probably rented it. Like I have a digital copy of the first one. I definitely do have that.
I was real close to saying Disney Plus, but that's Jungle Cruise.
Yeah,
and that's just because I'm
Cruise.
thinking of The Rock.
Yeah, and I didn't finish watching Jungle Cruise.
I didn't start watching Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, I started watching it, but I mean, yeah, I didn't make it all the way through it. But yeah, Jumanji, like I said, I watched that first Jumanji, not the Robin Williams, but the Welcome to the Jungle, whatever it was called. But yeah, I never got around to watching the second one. And again, I probably have more interest in seeing the second one, but it has to make itself available for me to really want to seek it out. And now, mind you, for you listeners, if we were getting paid, not that everything's about money, but it would be like if I was a newscaster, if I was a journalist, and I had to make sure I did these things to fulfill my obligation for the job, I would do these things. And that's kind of where I hope to get one day. That maybe we are doing this in such a way where we have to stay up on top of things.
Mm-hmm.
So much to a point where that would be great, but we are not there yet. So therefore, I'm not gonna watch some shit I don't really want to watch just because. So
no, bro, it's crazy because like a minute ago I was this close to saying, man, why the fuck didn't they bring Robin Williams back for Jumanji?
Wow,
Like, bro, what the fuck?
Wow.
I guess the real question is, why didn't they bring back any of the other legacy characters?
I could have swore, wasn't it something in there that tied back to, like, was it like the original house or something like that?
Now I want to say that when they were when they were inside the game, they found where Alan was living while he was inside Jumanji.
Okay, I guess that's probably what I was.
Yeah, but like they didn't have the little boy or the little girl or the auntie. Like none of those characters made it into either one of the sequels, which I mean that would have been cool. Haven't seen any of them doing anything in quite a while, but sure. But yeah, the Borderlands situation. I'm also not a first person shooter nigga. Like for as much as when we talk, if we talk retro games and we talking Nintendo 64, like GoldenEye is everybody's like number one. So many people's number one, or like they have it in, should I say, top 3, top 5 games for the system. Not me.
Definitely not me. As I said, I've never really liked it. I think the only first person game that I tried to play, it wasn't GoldenEye. I've never played that. It might have been like Jumpin' Flash on PlayStation 1 because I had it as it was on the demo disc.
The only one I ever played was Halo.
I played Halo in a party situation a couple times, but yeah, I'm not fond of the viewpoint, so it just ain't my thing. It has to be third person or otherwise. True Story was actually the name of the Kevin Hart thing.
There you go.
So yeah, we were close. Just had to take out the based on out. Yeah, True Story.
But shout out to Wesley and Billy Zane.
Damn, I forgot that quick that Wesley was in that. Because I was trying to think of somebody else that was in it that was playing like his big brother, and I totally forgot that was Wesley.
It fucked me up that they had Billy Zane in there like as like a bald old gangster though. Like, all right.
I'm not really that surprised about that because, I mean, past Billy Zane's prime in the 90s, he seems to have sunk in a place where I'm not saying that he'll just do anything, but I mean, when he does show up to do something, he seems to be game to do whatever's needed. Yeah. It's kind of like him being in the Zoolander movie.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That kind of thing. So, like, yeah, I don't knock Billy Zane. When I see him in there, it's like, oh, cool, Billy Zane's in there. And
no, it was just at first when he popped up, I was like, why does this nigga look so familiar? and then I pictured his fucking luscious locks in Titanic and was like, oh shit, nigga, that's Billy Zane.
I guess since you know what's funny because I have seen enough of Titanic to say I've seen it, but I've never watched that movie from beginning to end.
Oh, bro,
so when I think about Billy Zane, I always think about probably Phantom first.
Definitely
then other things.
No. I definitely think of Titanic, then Phantom.
And then I also think about the Back to the Future movies as well. Yep. So you got to think about that.
Damn.
Yes, he was in those.
Damn, you're right.
I was about to say, need I remind you where he was? Because he didn't have a major role, but he was in all three.
Damn. No, I barely remember 3.
Yeah, he was always he was in Biff's crew.
Damn, again.
Yeah, because it was always him.
That nigga his name? Old, bro.
Casey Zamasco, or whatever his name is, played in 3 O'Clock High and a bunch of other shit from the 80s and 90s.
This nigga
and
got
somebody
80s
else.
and 90s actor names in the
nigga,
bag, nigga.
I grew up in the 80s. What the fuck? What am I supposed to do?
I guess you got a point.
Jesus. But yeah, Billy Zane was part of Biff's crew. So yeah, he was in the first one and then subsequently in 2 and 3 for each of the time jumps. He was still part of his crew.
Yeah. So, damn. Yep. Shit. Well, Borderlands came out and made 38 cents, which we didn't talk about. Borderlands came out, and after a legitimate run of really solid fucking video game movie properties, they just fucking knocked that shit the fuck back a couple steps, apparently, because everybody is like, yeah, video game movie properties is all trash again.
I categorically disagree with that.
I don't think that is an actual major setback for the video game.
Yeah, because I don't think it's that many good ones like that for them to even say that shit. Like when did this swing happen that they're talking about? There's things that are acceptable and do not count shit that's animated because that is a cheat code. You cannot count Super Mario Brothers or anything like that because as long as it's animated, that's not the same. So if we're talking live action,
come on, bro, it's Mario. Mario is animated.
Right, but speak for 1993. All right, then. So that's my point. So when you're talking video game movies, something that's done live action based on that, there's a whole plethora of ones that are good. All of the animated ones, for the most part, are usually lean toward good, whether they're shows or the movies. Because
Last of Us was good.
I still didn't even finish the first episode yet, so I still got to work on that. But again, what were we talking about? Everything post-pandemic.
Right.
So, but at least I finally did start it this year.
Yeah.
I actually made an effort to actually start watching the first episode. And yeah, I stopped at a certain point. So again, I'll get back to it. But yeah, that's one thing. Like, yeah, that's good. You can speak for that. But then, like I said, you can't count Mario. I don't count any of the Resident Evil games, regardless of how many of y'all like them shits.
Oh no, but those I only fucked with like the first one.
But again, I remember seeing the first one in the theater back when I was still dumb enough to be like, yeah, let me go try this out.
When that first one came out, man, I had to be in fucking high school.
Yeah, probably so, because I don't remember when it came out, but it had to be the better part of 20 years ago. So, yeah, that would have been something that I would have been like, yeah, I guess I'm gonna go see this because I played and beat 1 and 2, and I stopped at 3, and I played part of 0.
I feel like I've only ever played Resident Evil games in arcade with the handheld gun.
But they had light gun games for that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember that at all. You're not mixing that with House of the Dead, are you?
Then yep. Never played a Resident Evil
This
game.
guy. Yeah, that didn't happen. Yeah, you're thinking of House of the Deads.
There has to be a Resident Evil joint.
All Resident Evil, especially made by Capcom, that was all home system shit.
Wow.
Yep, I think they've had variations.
See, even the one nigga with the fucking giant triangle thing on his head, that's Silent Hill.
Yep.
Nigga, I don't think I've ever played Resident Evil.
You may not have. Like I said, they are a product of their time, because it's always funny how when they talk about, it's like people forget about what came first, kind of like the chicken or the egg situation. Because like you look at Resident Evil in essence was not a parody, but more of an homage to the Living Dead series movies, especially the ones that came out in the 80s. Because it was cheesy. You had the zombies. It was very much like those Day of the Dead, that kind of shit that came out in the 80s. I remember as a kid watching. So you had those. But then it's just like in the same reason why when you look at something like Tomb Raider, and then everybody's like, oh yeah, Tomb Raider, it was a game and it was blah, blah, blah. Tomb Raider was nothing more than a ripoff of Indiana Jones. So it's like you got Indiana Jones, then the Tomb Raider, then to Uncharted, which is all a fucking variation of Indiana Jones and everything else that came before it in that way. So it's like everybody always forgetting the pecking order of things. But again, just like you talk about Uncharted had some entertainment value, but it wasn't great.
Wait, the game or the movie?
The movie. I'm talking the movie. The games are fine. I beat 3 out of 4 of the games. I still have not started the 4th one, the last one.
Yeah, I thought that the movie was cool. I felt like they I mean, obviously you go with Tom Holland because he's the young, you know what I'm saying, hip hot, you know what I'm saying, actor at the moment or whatever. That's cool. They shouldn't have though. They should have fucking given us what the shit is that niggas play. Like, you know what I'm saying, instead of going, hey, we need to try to niggas be so focused on longevity of a franchise and making something a franchise before they even fucking put the first one out. It's like, nigga, get a successful one on the screen first.
They act like fucking Harrison Ford ain't a goddamn 120 years old, still cracking out fucking Indiana Jones movies.
You feel me?
Went with
There's nothing wrong with going with somebody in their 30s.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
Pick a nigga in the 30s, bro. Like, y'all, yeah.
Yeah, but Uncharted games are great. Movie,
it was cool.
Whatever.
It was just cool.
Trying to think out. Like I said, when I think of, like I said, even still categorically, I never watched Dead or Alive. As a Tekken fan, the Tekken movie, ass, pure ass. The second Tekken movie, even more ass, because what I get the impression of is that it actually wasn't a Tekken movie initially, but they took it, kind of put the Tekken name over it, did that old bullshit.
Yeah.
Complete ass. But when I think of animated, like some of the best ones, like Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, fucking fire.
Animated is different, though.
I know.
Like you said.
Yeah, like I said, but that's just my point about that fine line. And since I couldn't remember the button, that would have been the perfect time to hear perfect. But
oh, you already know. Perfect.
It's too late now.
I missed it.
But anyway, so like, yeah, that. But again, just like going back to the Super Mario thing, yeah, absolutely great. I didn't fully watch Ratchet and Clank, but as far as I could tell, great. Again, when it's animated, they kind of can't miss because they're doing it more true to life. I will give some props to Sonic for being more entertaining than it should be, even though I still haven't watched the second one. But yeah, I don't know where they're riding on this. Yeah, there was this streak of good movies, and then all of a sudden it dropped the ball. I'm not seeing that because you gotta
because you had 2 good Sonics, you had Mario, you had. I feel like and like I said, and you had Last of Us. So the last 4 major video game properties adapted into film have been good, and that spans at this point, like 4 years.
So if I'm just going through some rough ones, just looking at this, things that are there. So Borderlands supposedly terrible. Free Guy doesn't count.
It doesn't.
Nope. Warcraft. I think I was supposed to be trying to take some time to actually watch that. I've had a copy of that for years, but have not fully watched it, even though supposedly it wasn't that great.
I still ain't watched it.
Gran Turismo, I did not watch, even though supposedly that was supposed to be good.
Yeah.
Even though that's kind of a cheat though, because
you have to make something up that's like they had free reign to low key make up whatever the fuck to go around the race.
But even the fact that it was based on a supposed true story, that's still not really a video game movie. That's almost like a movie about a guy who played the video game,
right?
Because that's exactly what it is. Scott Pilgrim doesn't count.
Nope.
So we touched on Uncharted. Blood Rain, which I never saw, but that supposedly was terrible at the time. All of the Final Fantasy movies, again, animated, they're good for what they are, but still, even though they were not great. Hitman, either one of those. I never saw any of the Hitman movies with your boy Josh Oliphant, for those that get that joke.
Right.
It's Timothy Oliphant for you people that run. Need for Speed, I don't think did I see that?
I don't think I saw it.
Because that was the one with Aaron. Fuck is his name?
Taylor Johnson?
No, Aaron from Breaking Bad.
Oh, I was about to say Jake Paul.
Aaron Paul.
Right.
There we go.
I don't know what in my brain went. Jake Paul.
Assassin's Creed, which I never took the time to watch.
That was
because it was supposed to be bad. We said Sonic was good. Max Payne, which I never took the time to watch. Terrible. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, again, I'm not seeing Mortal Kombat.
Forgot about Mortal Kombat. Wasn't ass, wasn't great.
Well, which one are you talking about?
I'm talking about the most recent one where they made up that fucking awful, god awful character.
Well, the most recent one, I'm going to give it partial pass, but again, that's one of those, looking back on it at the time from watching it going, oh yeah, that wasn't terrible. You know what? That shit wasn't good. But we'll see what happens with the new one. But original one, passable. I probably have not watched that movie in 20 years. The second one,
was
I never saw it all.
Annihilation was bad.
Yeah, I didn't even bother. Things that we don't really think about that I haven't fully seen. Double Dragon, ass.
Yep. I don't give a fuck what nobody say, bro. I love Super Mario.
The 1993 one?
Yes.
Oh, well,
it's a guilty pleasure.
Okay, I can accept that because I was going to say that age is a factor, but yeah, I can see that. I think I saw that shit in the theater, and I think I was heated. Yeah, I'm fairly sure that I saw it in the theater. I don't remember if I took my nephew to see it at the time, but yeah, it was definitely. I was highly upset. Prince of Persia, I never saw.
It was mid.
Rampage. It had some moments.
Yeah.
I have not seen Monster Hunter. Detective Pikachu. That was pretty good.
It was cool, yeah.
I never saw Silent Hill.
I enjoyed Silent Hill. I did enjoy Silent Hill. I wouldn't lie.
Yeah, so again, I guess my whole point was just I don't see how.
But what I'm saying is, again, within this past like 4 to 5 years or so,
if we're just talking properties,
we've had good outings for video game properties. Like never have we had multiples like, all right, nigga, that was cool. Never.
Right.
So to get, like I said, Sonic 1, Sonic 2, nigga, just the idea, nigga, of the green lighting of a Zelda movie finally is like, nigga, yes. Mario was good. All right, cool. Like, bro, we got multiple joints. Like, we haven't had a miss in like 5 years until Borderlands.
If you say so. Again, I'll watch Borderlands when it's.
like I said, bro. I enjoyed Last of Us. I never played the game.
I only played the opening up until when you start. So in video game equivalent to what you saw in the series, since it's still all in the first episode, I played basically the opening. So everything from Joel leaving his brother, daughter getting killed, and then to where he's getting set up to start his adventure to venture out. That's where I stopped. So if I went back to play it, I'm just going to basically have to start over again because I didn't get that deep into it.
For sure.
But yeah, it was, and again, made by the same people that made Uncharted, so it's not far off from some of the mechanics. So again, I like the Uncharted games. Uncharted games for me are they're kind of forgettable in the sense that you play it, you enjoy it, but when I'm done, I have no interest in going back. And again, I was through all the first three, and I want to really start the fourth one to go through that. But again, they've always been pleasurable. But yeah, just nothing I've ever been, they never stick with me being like, oh yeah, I remember that part. It's such and such. Like, nah, I remember being that way with the Tomb Raider games, especially with the Tomb Raider games. I only beat the first two. I stopped playing on 3 because by that time the PS2 came out. And then I got one of the newer remakes that came out on PS4. I started, stopped. So I have a couple of those newer ones that were actually good, but still haven't played. So it is what it is.
For sure. Okay, so damn, bro. I have one question before we roll into our last segment. Is there anything coming up that you plan on seeing in the theater?
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. So I have a question for you. Question for a question.
Mm-hmm.
Before I roll into this. Did you get my text yesterday?
No.
Definitively got no text from me at all yesterday.
Oh. Yes.
Okay. Then you know I have something to talk about.
Then let's talk.
Okay. So I actually went to go see Alien Romulus last night. Or not that me seeing it matters to any of you when I saw it, but I saw Alien Romulus.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely enjoyed it. It was definitely, without spoiling anything, it is very tied to, I don't know in the timeline where it would take effect. It either lands right in between the first.
It's between
Alien.
1 and 2.
That's what they say, but I could also see how it could be after that because it's the whole cryo sleep thing that throws me off. But I don't know that it was really specified when I was watching it. And the odd thing of all things, I learned a lesson too yesterday when I bought this. So I went and bought my ticket on Fandango.
Mm-hmm.
I actually went to Lakeshore for the first time ever.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no, that's not. No, because I saw Bowfinger at Lakeshore. So that's not the first time I purposely went there to see a mainstream movie. Mm-hmm. So nonetheless, I bought my ticket.
All the theaters have regular seating except for like
exactly.
Except for like 2, which fucking blows my mind because it is god awful to sit on floor flat level seating and watch a movie.
So this is kind of where my story is going. So the fact that I paid, so when I looked, I compared between Lakeshore, Willoughby, and I did look at Silver Spot, and I looked at
oh, you looked at fucking unexpected waxed asshole spot.
Well, I was just looking at options, and I was like, I think I'm going to go cheap because part of me was like, well, I'm going to basically eat when I get there, so it's like either I'm going to, take food inside, not that I'm advocating, or if I was going to get something to eat there. So that was an option, but I'm like, 15 plus food? Nah. So then, as I said, I'm looking at that. What the hell else? Oh, Cedar Lee. So I'm looking at Lakeshore, Cedar Lee. Cedar Lee was like 10. Lakeshore was 8. So I bought the ticket after, their fees and everything was basically $10 and change.
Mm-hmm.
So I get there thinking it was supposed to start at 7:25. I realized then when I get there, it doesn't start till 7:35, so I'm there early. When I walked in with my Mr. Hero tucked in my hoodie and everything.
You walked in like this.
Bruh, no, I was carrying the hoodie. I put it in the pocket and everything. I was carrying it because there was no need to have a hoodie. There was nobody there, bruh. This is the first time in a long time I've been in a theater. I'm the only nigga in the theater. Only nigga in the theater. Nobody was there.
Yesterday?
Yesterday. Nobody was there.
What's today? Friday?
Today's Friday. It was a Thursday night premiere.
That's crazy.
For a movie for a 7:35 showing.
But
No
we
one.
not. But we not. Especially like Euclid is not a sci-fi city, nigga. Like that. I don't feel like them niggas is flooding out to go see these kind of that kind of.
I mean, I could understand, but I would think that somebody, like even if it was one other person in there, but there was no one.
That's crazy.
I am the only one that bought a ticket. So the fact that I did that, I'm like, I could have saved the fucking $2. I paid the extra $2 to go to a fucking theater where nobody was there. Like I needed to reserve my seat, even though it wasn't reserved seating. That was a lesson learned. So
That
I'll
too.
never do that
Them
again.
niggas don't got the reserve seating, and them niggas don't have stadium seating in almost
Right.
all of theirs. They don't have stadium seating in 5 of their 7. Blew
So, yeah.
me, nigga.
I'm sitting in the middle of that, probably like 200, 300 seat theater by myself. The good thing though, which I didn't know how it was going to go, they had that shit pumping. So I wasn't mad at that. It wasn't like no shit where the screen wasn't bright enough or they had the volume down too low. It was fine.
Bro, I'm gonna keep it funky, man. You movie theater chains. We know what y'all niggas be doing, bro. Y'all trying to save on bulb life because them shits are expensive as fuck for those ultra powered projectors. We get it, but I don't give a fuck. Turn the brightness up. That shit legitimately be ruining movies for motherfuckers. Because I done came home and watched shit again after it and finally got released and threw that bitch on the 85 and shit be looking glorious. I'm seeing shit that I absolutely didn't even know was happening on screen and in corners and areas and shit because y'all got the brightness turned down to fucking 60% and shit to save on bulbs. And y'all niggas is trying to save on speakers. If you motherfuckers don't turn this shit up, both of them, my nigga, BOFFUM, nigga. Both of them. Turn them shits up and quit fucking playing because y'all already waxing niggas buttholes, nigga. Unexpected on the ticket price. Then you gonna wax a nigga again for the concessions. And if I could put a fucking icy in my pocket, nigga, and get in with the large, oh, I wouldn't be paying you bitch ass niggas.
Right.
Because y'all be skimping out on the experience and then wondering why theaters is suffering.
Yeah, that's always the thing because I did pay $4.75 for a fucking Deer Park water, which would have cost me nothing like that anyplace else had I stashed that as well.
That's crazy.
But I always feel like, yeah, I'm gonna play fair and I'm gonna at least buy a drink from there, or the few times where I actually do want popcorn or nachos. But neither here nor there. So, how much have you watched or anything in regard to? You watched any reviews or anything like that?
I've seen all positive reviews from Romulus except for one.
Well, I mean, have you, like,
Dan
watched-
Murrow was like,
Oh, so you watched his
Yeah.
actual review? Okay, that's what I'm asking because I didn't want to.
I watched Stugman, I watched Johns, I watched 3C, and I watched Dan Murrow.
Wait a minute, you said Dan Merle did what?
Dan Murrow's review.
No, I'm saying you were saying something about
He's the only one that was like,
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't say that. Watching the Double Toaster review today, because I usually don't watch them. Well, I did watch John's and everything before I actually saw the movie yesterday. But to kind of sum up, just like the way they put it, the first 2/3 of the movie are, I'm not going to say flawless, but they're definitely with very little flaw. That last third is where I'm just going to say it's divisive. I'm not going to say that it's bad or it's good because I mean I still enjoyed myself all the way through, but it's definitely going to turn a couple of people, maybe their overview of it after seeing that third act, because there's a couple of things that are done that could either be considered as groan worthy or it's either you're just going to ride along with it. There's only one thing that happened in that movie to me that was definitely a groan, and it was them forcing in a callback that did not need to be called back. And that callback was a quote. It wasn't a thing that was just in the movie. It was something that was said that just did not need to be said in that movie. That was a callback for some other shit. And it's like, why did you do this? Why did you do this? But nonetheless, since you've heard enough of it, and I mean, I guess for some of the people that by the time if they hear this, if they have not actually watched the movie. So again, like if it does take place between Alien 1 and Alien 2, since it does fit the mold of an actual science horror flicks, more like the first one, where the major threat is the idea of one alien or one xenomorph that is free, but there's also a bigger threat also with a bunch of face huggers. But I mean, again, if you've seen any of the trailers, you see any of this, so none of this is spoilery. What is the catalyst for some of this is kind of spoilery, so I can't speak on any of that, but it is definitely one of those things where, again, this could be a thing where some people go, why did they do this? And I was okay with it after a while. It's funny hearing people talk about the CG in it, and the one major flaw of the CG had to do with this one thing in particular. But again, when you see it, you'll know it. But again, I grew up old school where I remember when so many things were done on blue screen and green screen to where they didn't look that great, and I didn't let it bother me in my experience of watching it. So this little CG shit doesn't really bother me the way that it does so many of y'all. But knowing that the film takes place where you got I'm going to say kids for the lack of a better term, so they're young ones living in a mining colony where basically a lot of their parents have died or like wasted their lives in the mining colony, and it's one of those things where you have servitude to the Weyland-Yutani company for X amount of hours or years or whatever that you have to do the job, and then you can go someplace else. So a girl and her brother, man, I can't even think of her name right now, but her brother's name is Andy, played by David Johnson.
Then her name must be Anne.
So right away, one of the things, like if you've seen any of the trailers, and you know it's not really a spoiler, but just getting to the point, is that Andy's actually he's an android. So just like in all of the other Alien movies, from Alien with Rook, from Aliens with Bishop, you know, so on and so forth, Call from Alien Resurrection, all of that, you know.
Whatever the fuck Michael Fassbender's name was, David.
Yeah, David.
It just hit me.
So yeah, he's an android made by Weyland-Yutani in that same fashion. So it's pretty good because like he gets to show a definitive kind of range, because when it started off, since I did know, I really thought that they were playing him as autistic at first. So I'm like, oh, why they do the brother like this? They gonna give him the R word role. But then it made sense once it got revealed as to what he was, and it's like, oh, now I get it. Plus some other things happen, but the idea and the premise there is that being that they're stuck and having to do this time, they want to be able to go to another planet where they could just live and not have to spend out this time with Weyland-Yutani. So they basically figure out that there is a ship, or what they believe is a ship, that's actually in orbit from the planet that they're on, and they're looking to go to that planet to get pods, sleep pods, so that way they could just travel to the actual planet that they want to go to, but it's going to take 9 years to do it. So they get the idea to go up to this ship that's basically been decommissioned to get these pods, and then they can take off to go to the planet they want to, knowing that they'll have the pods that'll let them sleep for the 9 years and they can get up. But once they get up there, they realize it's not a ship, it's actually a space station. And of course, it's deserted for reasons that you can imagine, because you're going to see an alien movie. And then a lot of things ensue. So it is definitely, like I said, it definitely has the full pedigree of like the first Alien movie, where there's a lot of threats there, jump scares, things like that, things that you can't see, that kind of thing. Like it is a very good horror movie in that sense, on top of the fact of having some action, but it's way more of a horror movie than anything, going back to his roots within that. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. It did seem, as I've heard before, that it had a couple of times to basically end, and it seems like it didn't, and it kept getting stretched out. That was kind of the problem. But like I said, these are all mostly third act problems. It didn't ruin it for me, but like I said, I enjoyed it. I definitely, recommend it. But I figured you were going to see it eventually anyway.
I'm probably going to have to go see it Monday, because I got a full weekend already loaded up on my schedule. So that'll probably be how I end up playing out. Even though I wanted to see it yesterday and tonight, I'm probably going to lay it down after I eat. The itis is already actually on the couch. So it's like, it's waiting on us to finish and waiting on me to eat. So it could just, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just go ahead and let it just take me. You know what I'm saying? But Final segment for the day. Y'all already know what it is, man. It is time for us to get into the homework.
Or until we think of a better name.
Yeah.
So, actually, I'm trying to think. I think I went first last time. You go first this time. So, to remember, we task each other each week having a choice of two things to basically watch that they have to come back and report on by the next show. Things that we have not seen, that we are either suggesting or whatever to others. Eventually, we will try to open this up to the people for suggestions of things that you could send to us to watch that we maybe have not seen. So that's always a roll of the dice. We'll see how that works out. But if you do have any of those suggestions, blerdsandclips@gmail.com. So, Watts, your homework at the time was the choice between watching, I think I threw, back in rotation, True Lies or an episode of The Office. And you watched
an episode of The Office. And what is it, like 9 seasons?
Yes.
Don't know how it got there. But I am going to continue to watch to try to figure it the fuck out, I guess. There definitely were some moments that I got some chuckles out of. I guess I've seen enough clips of actual funny shit for me to say, all right, I know that there are moments, and I can assume based on what I saw in episode 1 that it is legitimately just a bunch of ultra dry ass, like, tongue-in-cheek, not supposed to be funny, but what is ultimately funny shenanigans of these motherfuckers that work in this office together. And I'm all for dry ass humor. Episode, but at the same time though, considering that I know that that essentially out the gate, like y'all have told me before, and also just previous knowledge, knowing that this thing is a retread of the, at least in the beginning, retread of the UK show, them niggas ain't funny. So, like, once it turns to American humor, or gets a little bit more Americanized, then I anticipate a much more effective show.
Okay. So that's why I didn't want to talk about it. So we cheated. He didn't do his homework. We watched the first episode right before we started.
Again, pinch nerve in the neck. I've been on drugs all week. You know what I'm saying?
So
y'all niggas know how it is on perks.
I guess they would. So I said to him, I said, nope, don't tell me anything. We're just going to discuss it on the show. Like I said, that's how we keep things fresh. Yeah. Okay, so I didn't want to oversay that when we were sitting there watching it. And I kind of got that feeling of watching that first episode again. Again, I can assure you, just like you said and like you've heard, those first 6 episodes when they got their first season, and like I said, I watched the British show, like maybe the first couple episodes. It is an exact retread of the British show. I didn't even start with the first season when I first started watching the show. I actually started with my homeboy let me borrow DVDs, and I started with season 2 is where I actually started.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to do.
Season 2, yeah, and you can.
I at least heard all the character names in episode 1. So
yes, the fact that you have watched episode 1, yes, I could suggest start with season 2 and work your way through, and maybe possibly go back to that, because there's nothing that really happens that's so pertinent of the first 6 episodes that you have to have watched those to get to that. But it is, I'm not going to say night and day, but it is so much better starting with season 2 going forward. And by season 3, they were running on all fucking cylinders. Mm-hmm. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which was Steve Carell's last season, fucking fire.
That's a lot fucking of seasons of fire. I'm gonna have to go fuck with it.
Fucking fire. People that really fuck with The Office mainly because of like seasons 2 through 7. Fucking fire to me. Like I said, I love it. Lav loves it. Millions of other people love it. Clearly. But I can see how someone going into episode 1 of the first season and being like, it's that, because it doesn't follow that same format. It's still done with, like, they don't really discuss it too much about why the crew is there doing a documentary on the company.
Right.
They do touch on it every now and then, but no one gets interactive with them at pretty much any point. But it changes from that straight up dry humor version. Like season 2, that's when it starts to become like really the American version. And it is, like I said, it's drastically different.
For sure.
Drastically different. So even if you got some chuckles out of the first episode, no, the real laughs come on.
Got you.
Because, nigga, if you can make it to season 4 specifically, not saying because this is arguably the best episode, but season 4, the dinner party episode, it is everything that they make it out to be, but you do have to work your way up to get that history, to get to that episode, because it's fucking hilarious. But again, not really pushing the issue, but I can assure you, if you do start maybe with season 2, it'll be better. But yeah, I can see somebody being like, the season 1 shit is, it's whatever. Because I think I even felt that way, but luckily I did not start with that.
Got you.
Okay. I want to let you intro it to what you had me watch, what my 2 options were, if you even remember.
Now, after sitting here and doing the show last week, I tasked Vig with 2 options and 2 motion pictures because I'm clearly an asshole. And after doing that, then additionally, after editing said show, so hearing it for the second time, I don't remember what the fuck I had suggested that this nigga watch.
I should have known. I should have fucking known. Okay. What you tasked me to watch was either, which is still back in the rotation from the first one, Evil Dead Rise, or the other one was Talk to Me. Okay.
I knew I was cooking with grease.
So, Talk to Me, which was on Paramount Plus, which I don't have. Mm-hmm. But, since I don't use the, even though I probably should do the thingamajig more, I'm not going to advertise for you people as to what website to go to. I probably should do that more often, but anyway, that's probably how maybe you should have tried to watch it. Maybe I'll do that.
That way you can go get some bootleg DVDs.
Yeah, maybe I should do that. Anyway, so I found a copy of Talk to Me.
On the street, outside, innocent, completely random.
I found a copy of that.
He was walking down 79th.
Yeah, I wish, because it would have been that much easier to watch. But I found a copy, got a copy. Not going to say how I did that. But I actually watched Evil Dead Rise today.
Okay.
Nigga.
Now, hold on. Cause cause you did it today. So let me investigate how the women do. So you had your 2 options. You had both of them at your disposal for you to be able to get a hold of, but you enjoyed Romulus and figured, I'm gonna go ahead and see what that Evil Dead talking about.
I figured no, because ain't Talk to Me a horror movie too?
No. I'm saying Fede Alvarez did both of them.
I thought Fede Alvarez did the Evil Dead remake.
Yeah, I thought he did both.
No, Lee Cronin did Evil Dead Rise.
Got you.
Yeah. Fede Alvarez did the 2013 remake of Evil Dead,
which I thoroughly hated.
Oh, yeah. Alien Romulus, directed by Fede Alvarez. So, no, I chose Evil Dead Rise because of the fact that it was easier for me to just pull it up on my laptop while I was working on Macs than it would have been for me to try to watch it on my laptop, where with the file version that it is on my laptop probably wouldn't have played on my laptop. I'd have probably had to try to play it on one of my PlayStations.
For sure.
So that was too much work.
Did you say one of? How many PlayStations you got?
I have a 1, 3 2s, 3, 2 4s, and a 5.
Oh, you need to let your boy buy one of them 2s off you, so I could play.
I would just give you one because I have 2 slim ones. There's something wrong with one of the slim ones. I can't remember exactly what, and the other slim one was working at one point, and I stopped, and I bought an old school big one again, and that's the one I've been using the most. I could have swore we talked about this, or maybe I was talking to somebody else.
No.
Well, yeah.
I fuck it. What, nigga?
Well, yeah,
I
I'll give
literally
you,
only want that bitch to play Street Fighter 2. That's
oh,
all I
okay.
wanted for.
Okay, I'll try to make sure it works, and I'll give you one of the Slim Twos. So, yeah, it would have been too much work and doing all that. So I decided to watch that. So, again, as I've already alluded to, I want my hour and a half of my time back.
That's crazy.
So yeah, you know what? That's what I said I was gonna address this. So you tell me why it was that I should have watched that.
Visually, I fucked with the movie.
Okay.
I liked the actual dread and tension that you get in watching this movie, because you realize the further along that you go through this movie, there is no fucking escaping the Deadites once you done fucked around and let their ass get active. And like I said, visually, when I'm talking visual, I'm talking about directing style, cinematography, makeup and effects, fucking fire in this shit to me. And it also has probably one of the coolest fucking title sequences I ever saw. When the bitch floats up over the motherfucking lake and the Evil Dead letters come up behind the fucking trees and shit. And that's how they introduced the movie. It's like, oh, that shit was dope. And for whatever they had fucking going on and shit, like I feel like the performances are solid, pretty much across the board. And like the main Deadite being like the mother, she bodied that shit. Those are the positives I have for it.
Okay.
Now, I also only saw it once, but off the head, those are the things that stood out for me.
All right. Here's my issue. Everything you said, you're not wrong. However, the problem that I have with that is it doesn't make it interesting storytelling for me. And that's where the problem goes out the window. So, yeah, you could have your creepy parts with the Deadites, because, I mean, even to the degree, okay, so I'm going to compare. So I'm going to compare original Evil Dead 2, and I'm only going to compare that just because of the fact that Evil Dead 2 was really just a remake, a better remake of Evil Dead 1 initially with Sam Raimi. And Sam Raimi's style being that it was quirky, where it was like part horror, but then kind of like, because of the fact that him and Bruce Campbell were inspired by Three Stooges kind of things, and the way that he did his direction with a lot of the, fast close-ups and things like that, and with the camera following, it made it kind of goofy at the same time. So me watching Evil Dead 2, where they're stuck in a cabin, you got the Necronomicon, you got the Deadites, things getting possessed, things like that, a bunch of the jump scares, but it was so goofy in a way where it was like, okay, I can feel that. It's not so much a whole lot of tension, but it's like, there's some horror tension, but it's goofy at the same time. It's stylistically one thing. So Evil Dead Rise is like stylistically in the way it looks, where like, yeah, there's creepy things. There are things that are cool. Like, the whole, I guess whatever, you people are going to watch it or not, but just like the closing the eyelids and their shits pop back up, like shit like that is cool. I'm not going to say that doesn't visually, is not cool about that kind of thing. I do like that in essence, but when I'm watching films like that where it's just like they're kind of just stuck in one place and there's something that's supernatural that's trying to fuck with everybody and kill them, I don't really find it that compelling to watch. That's my thing.
For sure.
I get the aesthetics, but I'm just still kind of bored, like same routine, same tropes of how things are going to go down, even though it may not turn out good for anyone at the end, but it's just kind of like, okay. And like I said, in opening up, starting it, I'm like, yeah, this is cool. But once it really got into the thick of the actual plot, and then I guess that was kind of cool how it wrapped itself around to coming back to like, the end of the movie was really the beginning of the movie kind of thing. I did like that, little catch. But like I said, I'm just kind of still watching it and just kind of bored. Like, okay, like, I get it, but it just wasn't keeping me compelled. And again, and I say this as, again, not that I'm the biggest Evil Dead fan from the originals. Like, I like Sam Raimi's style of stuff. Like I said, I probably only saw Evil Dead 1 and 2 once apiece, if I've never made that clear. I've seen Army of Darkness multiple times because Army of Darkness is not a traditional horror movie in that trilogy because it's the one that was more of a action adventure comedy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I've watched that one the most. I think there's a lot of cool shit that Sam Raimi did in that one. Plus, Bruce Campbell was fucking hilarious in that with a lot of his one-liners and the way they had some of those action sequences going down. Fucking love it. I think the first 20 minutes of that movie are goddamn impeccable of Army of Darkness.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like I said, I'm not opposed to it, but yeah, I didn't love it. So I watched it, but yeah, I will never watch that shit again.
I feel you. Granted, again, like I said, I only watched it once, but I enjoyed it for, like I said, the things that I enjoyed it for. And I'm not necessarily opposed to what do they call them? I feel like there's a term for it. What are they? Shoebox movies or something of the sort. Movies where they all pretty much take place in one spot.
Damn it. And it's fucking with me because it was a big reference in one of the episodes of Community. And that's why it's throwing me off. It's shit. Because it was the episode where when Annie lost her pen and she was blaming everybody for stealing her pen, and they ended up being stuck in the study room, and they all ended up having to strip down and everything to prove that they didn't have this pen. I don't know if you remember that episode, but it was probably like season 3 that happened. But yeah, that episode, and Abed made mention of it, and I don't know why I can't think of it now. But yeah, I understand what you're talking about because it's damn it, why can't I think of that shit?
Yeah, I'm about to say it's about to bother me, bro. I'm telling you, it's about to blow me. But I'm not opposed to those types of stories. I like, so for example, Phone Booth. That's my shit. Buried with Ryan Reynolds. Also my shit. I'm not opposed to those types of joints. So this was a little bit more expansive than that, with just happening inside this apartment complex. And also, I think I think that's like motherfuckers be catching the this little parenthood and shit going on, like where it's like this mom, she love her kids and she wouldn't be trying to fucking murder them for real.
Right. Bottle.
Jesus Christ.
Bottle movie, bottle episode. That's what we're thinking.
Got you. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh man, like a little bit like they're using the mom to get the little baby to open the door. I'm like, oh, that's, of course the baby.
Right, but then see, that's also the typical trope that pisses me off, where it's always the the little white kid, not to be racist, but it's always the little white kid doing some dumb shit where it's like,
oh, for
you
sure.
already saw everything that was happening. Why the fuck would you open the door for your possessed ass mama and you looking dead at her, seeing her fucked up, but you gonna unlock the door?
Bro, listen, I understand what you said completely. The little white children be making mistakes. Okay. But I'm just saying that I think they tugged at the parental heartstrings and shit to get that little, because I'm like, oh, damn, that's fucked up, nigga. Like, that's my baby. Like, that's how I was looking at it.
The other thing that also bothers me, and this is, typical in tropes of people talking about the difference in, maybe white people and black people within the movie. Speaking of which, I still need to watch The Blackening one day, and I find that. Why is it in a situation like that when it's only like 4 or 5 of y'all and there's been a whole bunch of shit fucked up? How do you feel comfortable being in another room by yourself? How are y'all not just all in the living room chilling together?
Bro, because plot.
Exactly. But that's the shit that pisses me off with a lot of horror movies, where that's where I can't get beyond certain things. Like I said, certain visuals I'm cool with, and how things are presented, but it's like, just the fact that people do shit where it's like, this just doesn't make any logical sense. If I was a kid and I saw some supernatural shit going on and my mother being fucked up in this, 10, and third, there is no fucking way I'd be like, I'm just going to be chilling in my room while y'all, nigga. No. And speaking of which, that was related, but not, that's one of the other things when I think about swinging this back to Alien Romulus, I can't really think of anything that really pissed me off in that movie in that trope area. Like, there might have been one or two things, but generally speaking, no one did anything where I was like, here's the dumb shit. Why did you do this shit? There wasn't really any of that.
For sure.
But continue.
Nah, that's cool. That's cool. It's all right. They ain't all gonna be hits. Sometimes you're gonna have misses. All right. Now, let's go ahead and assign this week's homework until we come up with a better name.
Okay. Well, yours is still back to
True Lies.
So when I brought up last episode that I would have thrown The Wiz in there for you to watch that, I'm still going to stick to that. So either True Lies or The Wiz.
Letting y'all know now it's gonna be True Lies.
Why is that? Because Wiz is a musical?
Probably that, and I'm probably gonna have my mind is going. I genuinely wanted to watch True Lies.
When you've had 30 fucking years to watch it, you should have been watched it.
I know. I'm saying, but that was the one that I was planning to watch today. If I'm keeping it 1,000 with you, that was the one that I was planning to watch. So I'm gonna get it out the way. So then I feel like I can be all the way caught up in my Cameron bag. You feel me?
Right.
So yeah. But yeah. So that just won't be a surprise next episode, or will it? And this will be the last time that I do this to you, where we double up on motion pictures. But
I don't give a shit if you do it or not. Again, it's your obligation to do your homework. Again, I could throw another show at you, but I don't have a bunch of shows where I'm like, oh yeah, you definitely got to try to watch this, because when the stuff that I'm thinking of, you've already seen some of, and like maybe I may go back to, like, had you not started The Wire, that would have been one of the first fucking things on your list, and you still, side eye, need to fucking finish The Wire. But so it's not that I won't throw any shows at you or, purposely throwing shows at you. I'm just really just clearing the way for whatever. So I don't give a fuck about it being 2 movies. It's fine. I got a whole whatever until next episode to ingest that. Pause.
For sure. Well, then with that being said, we're going to leave Talk to Me up there on the docket, along with, as you just referenced, The Blackening.
I'm surprised you. Okay. Because I got to definitely figure out, oh, well, I know where I can possibly watch it. You know what? That's what I'm going to have to start implementing more. Because I don't know why I don't act like I don't have a whole ass newer laptop that I can't just hook my HDMI to my TV and be able to watch it still on the screen. I always that's what throws me off from doing that a lot, is because I'm always not watching certain things because I'm like, I don't want to watch it on the laptop. Like, I can't just hook my laptop up to the TV.
Factuals.
Okay. That's fine. So yeah, it can be whatever. Yeah. So Blackening or Talk to Me. So for all we know, I may fuck around and watch both. I'm not saying that I will. I'm just saying.
Hey, listen,
anything's possible.
Then niggas come in with the new double docket on the next episode potentially. But hey, listen, What do I know? We may fuck around. Y'all may find out. You will find out if you tap in, tune in, pull up on us for the next episode of Blerds and Clips, because that is going to wrap it up for another one of these 5 episodes of the Blerds and Clips podcast right here on the Revo Podcast Network. You got questions, concerns, comments, we don't really care, but feel free to go ahead and send them over to us. Follow us at Blerds and Clips on Instagram and send things over to blerdsandclips@gmail.com. As usual, I have been one half of your host and situation, BKA Watts, sitting here with my dog.
Wrap that shit up, B. Wrap that shit up. Figurtron 999.
Y'all know what it is, man. Y'all go follow somebody. You know what I'm saying? Tune in to the next one. You can watch us. You could be listening. What you want to do? Turn us on during your commute.
Yeah, fucking Google me. I was about to say Google me, bitch, and that's really disrespectful. But yeah, Google me.
Yeah.
Find my link tree.
Without that.
Go to all my shits, nigga.
You already know what it is, man. That's another one of them episodes of Blerds because we appreciate y'all. And we'll catch y'all on the next one. As always, love, peace, and chicken greed.